Hey everybody! Okay, so this video is about our Berkey water filter. When I asked you guys, when I asked you guys what you want to know about, you wanted to know about our Berkey because it's in the background of my videos a lot. And we have now had this Berkey for, how long have we had this? A long
15 years almost?
No, Annie was little.
Well, I guess Annie was born.
So
yeah,
11 years.
About 11
years.
I'm sorry. I just remember when the first house we were in when we got it.
And the first house we were in, we had it down low, and Annie one time it was on a short, and Annie pulled it over. And you want to know how much water this looks like on the floor? Like a flood.
Well, if you want to know, purchase your own
and
then just dump the whole thing out. And it looks, oh my goodness.
Okay. So now we put it in areas where we don't worry. That's one thing. People are like, how do you keep your kids from not turning it over?
Keep it up
We
high
learned
enough
our
where they
lesson. So we just kept it to where they couldn't get to it and pull it over whenever they were small. But now our kids are older. And so setting it right here on the counter so that you can put your cup under and fill it up. Our kids are old enough now to where they don't pull it over, but they can also fill their own cup. But I have seen some parents keep their Berkey right beside the kitchen sink. So back on the counter, back away, and right beside the sink, with the nozzle over the sink part, so people could still fill their cups to keep tiny people from.
Yeah, but it's tall. You have to keep that in mind because it may or may not fit. So you do have to figure out where to put it. We've had to figure that out in each of our homes, and that's not always the easiest thing, but it's totally worth it.
So we love it. We have actually had several family members end up purchasing them because of ours, and we actually purchased ours because a family member had it, and we were drinking water at their house, and it was really good. So we got it to be able to filter impurities and yuck that come in the town water. So ours is the 3-gallon size, which is the Royal Berkey, and we have the extra filters. So it doesn't come with fluoride filters, but we have the extra fluoride filters that go inside because that was important to us to filter out fluoride that comes in the city water. So those are optional, those are add-ons.
It usually only comes with 2 filters, and you can get multiple filter types. We have the black charcoal looking filters, and we actually have 4 of them. The only difference is the speed at which it filters the water. Because if you look down in here, in the top, there are 4 filters, and I know you won't see it, but basically the lid comes off.
You pour your water.
Yeah, you pour your unfiltered water in, and we have 4 filters up here, and the water goes through them, is filtered, and then drops down to the bottom. And in the bottom is where you have the fluoride filters. So if you see this is a separate unit which can be lifted up, and you can actually see the fluoride filters.
So those are the fluoride filters right here. So this is actually what holds your water, and this is the part that you take the lid off and put the water down in. Now, we have this, Barry reminded me, this is the reader that goes on the front that tells you how full the bottom part is.
Just a little glass vial.
So then I know when I need to refill it. However, I will tell you guys, I have overfilled this Berkey so many times. Like, we'll come in and there's like a puddle in the floor. If you refill it, overfill it, if you put too much in here, so this will filter down into here. If this is totally empty, it's fine. But sometimes I put too much in here, and there's also enough in here. It just starts leaking out over this middle part right here, down into the floor. I've done it a whole lot. So don't worry if that happens. It's just one of those things.
But back to the reader, that is supposed to help that not to happen. But one thing you have to remember is it's filtering what? No, I'm defending you here.
Oh, okay.
It's filtering water. So you may have put some in here. You come back 30 minutes later and go, it's still low, and you add more, but there's still water that's being filtered. So you just sort of have to keep that in mind. The best thing to do is to fill it up right before you go to bed or right when you get up in the morning or whatever, and not fool with it again until that same time the next day or until it's really running low, because that's a really good way to overflow it if you do fill it too frequently.
So this is a 3-gallon size. We're a family of 6. This is plenty for us. I usually refill it once a day, but we also have a water filter on our refrigerator that sometimes the kids will use, but I usually am going to refill this about once a day, and I just use a pitcher. So I know some people will plumb theirs in so that they can refill it that way. We've seen some people do that. Some people have it right beside the sink so they can just, fill it that way. But I just use a pitcher and refill mine that way. I'm checking my notes. So how often to clean? So I'm gonna tell you guys, I'm really bad about this part. So I'm gonna tell you what the website says, okay? So it says to clean this inside part right here, inside, about once a month, especially if you have hard water. We have pretty good water here, so we don't have hard water or soft water, a lot of problems. If you have like buildup, calcium buildup and that type of thing in your water where you live, you're gonna need to clean it inside pretty regularly. Once a month if you have pretty good water. Now, how about the filters? People ask me all the time, Stacey, how often do I need to clean my filters? But I can't tell you how often you're gonna need to clean them because you would literally have to live in the house next door to me because it's going to depend on the water system where you live.
Exactly.
So if you have really bad water where you live, your filters are gonna be working harder than if you live in a place that has fairly clean water.
Plus, how often do you use it? How much is being filtered? How do you have 2 or 4 filters? There's too many variables there. The point is, and the way you can tell is when you notice it's really slowing down in its ability to filter water, because the way it filters, it's through teeny tiny little pores. And when water stops flowing through those pores, then it clogs them up basically, and that's when you have to clean it. So if it's filtering like usual, you should be good to go.
So if it does start to slow down or you do want to clean your filters, it's really easy. So you just take this apart and you unscrew your filters and you put them in your sink and you just clean them with like a Scotch-Brite pad and your dish soap and rinse them really good and put them back in. They do have to be primed again after that. I never primed these. Barry did that. I do know there are videos on YouTube, really short, for how to prime your filters after you wash them.
Basically what you do is you force water through the filter in the opposite direction of the way it normally gets filtered to force out any air bubbles or any stuff that's trying to clog the last of it. It's just like something else, you know, if something is coming through this way and you want to go that way, you just put your mouth on it and blow or whatever, that kind of thing. You're doing the same thing with water. You're not going to
put your lips together and blow. Sorry. Okay.
Anyway, basically you're forcing water through backwards so that anything that's stuck on the outside of the filter is pushed out. And then that way it can start to filter in again once you've rinsed all that out and off. That's really all there is to priming it.
So that's usually the most questions I get is, what size is your Berkey? Do you like it? Do you recommend it? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes,
It's
yes.
worth every penny. I am very frugal. We bought this at a time when we had very, very, very little money.
Yeah.
We're talking super tight budget. I've never regretted this purchase. It is amazing.
So we'll put some links down below for you guys because I don't know currently who has them in stock. We are in the year from Hades 2020 currently, and everything seems to be out of stock everywhere. So we will put some links below for you guys. We purchased ours from James Filter.
Years ago. I don't even know if they're still in business.
Well, at least like 11 years ago. So it is still the same Berkey. They last forever. You can go, they make larger ones, they make smaller ones. They even make Berkey individual water bottles where you can have your filtered water if you're going to a different country or to a different city.
But there are 2 things I would say. There is a plastic version of this upright one. I would not recommend that because you're wanting this to last a long time. You're making an investment. I don't know that I'd want to buy a big plastic bottle. This is made of metal. It's going to last a much, much longer time. And if it falls over, it's going to dent. If the plastic one falls over, I'm not sure what might happen.
Ours is dented in multiple places for
Yeah.
those of you who are wondering.
So I would definitely recommend the metal one. And then in addition to that, I would absolutely recommend buying the extra
Yes.
glass vial reader, whatever this thing is
Level
called.
marker?
Sure, the
Okay.
level marker.
The level marker.
And then if you start out with 2 filters, that's cool. If you find that you need more, you can buy more and add them in. That's really
later,
not a big deal. You can get more filters, change the type of filters, all that's super easy. No tools. It's literally, you have a nut on the bottom and you put the filter through the top and then screw the nut in from the bottom. It's super easy to add them, remove them, take them out for cleaning, all that stuff.
Yeah, I think we just had 2 in the beginning,
Yeah.
didn't we? And it was filtering too slow, and so.
So
yeah,
we have the
gross.
4 filters and that is plenty fast enough.
So that is all. If you have any additional questions about the Berkey or how that works, or we didn't answer your questions sufficiently, you can leave those below and let us know. But we highly recommend. It's been really good for our family, and I think that's all we have to say.
Sounds good to me.
Just put your lips together.